One woman was taken by force, rejected by the man she loved, turned away by the man who could never love her. Her heartbreak became destiny, and years later, it brought down the greatest warrior of his age, Bhishma. Let's begin. Mahabharat. Chapter 4. Story of Shikhandi, born a woman but lived as a man. Story so far. Devavrat makes a terrible promise and becomes known as Bhishma. His father, King Shantanu, marries Satyavati and they have two sons, Chitrangad and Vichitravirya. After the death of Chitrangad, his younger brother, Vichitravirya, became king. Since he was still a boy, Bhishma ruled the kingdom for him until he was older. When Vichitravirya became a young man, Bhishma went to find brides for him. He heard that the three princesses of the kingdom of Kashi were going to choose their husbands in a swayamvar, a grand tradition where a princess could pick her groom. Kings and princes from many lands came, hoping to be chosen. Bhishma, famous as a mighty warrior, arrived too. Many young princes mocked him, saying he was too old and that he had taken a vow never to marry. They didn't know he was there on behalf of his brother. Their insults made Bhishma angry. He challenged them all and defeated them easily. Then he placed the three princesses, Amba, Ambika, and Ambalika, into his chariot and took them to Hastinapur. But someone stood in his way, King Shalva. Amba had already chosen him in her heart. She loved him and wanted to marry him. Shalva fought bravely, but he could not defeat Bhishma. Still, at the request of the princesses, Bhishma spared his life. Back in Hastinapur, preparations for the wedding began. But Amba stepped forward. With a sad smile, she said, Bhishma, I already chose King Shalva in my heart. You brought me here by force. Please do what is right. Bhishma agreed. Her words were fair, and he sent her back to Shalva with honor. Amba went to Shalva happily, believing he would welcome her. But instead, he said, Bhishma defeated me before everyone. I have been shamed. I cannot accept you now. Go back to him. Heartbroken, she returned to Bhishma. Vichitravirya refused to marry her since she had already chosen another man. Desperate and alone, Amba finally turned to Bhishma and begged him to marry her himself. But Bhishma could not break his vow of lifelong celibacy. His heart was heavy as he told her to try Shalva again. Proud and hurt, she stayed in Hastinapur for years, suffering in silence. Finally, she went to Shalva once more. But he still refused her. From that day on, Amba's life filled with pain. She wandered across kingdoms for 6 long years, begging warriors to fight Bhishma for her. But no one dared to face him. Her sorrow hardened into deep anger. In her desperation, Amba prayed to Lord Subramanyam. He gave her a magical garland of fresh lotuses and said, Whoever wears this garland will be the enemy of Bhishma. Amba went from king to king, begging them to take the garland and fight for her. But all of them feared Bhishma too much. Finally, she went to King Drupad, who also refused. Hurt and furious, she left the garland hanging at his palace gate and walked away. In the forest, some wise sages told her to seek the help of Parshuram, the greatest warrior of his time. She told him everything, and his heart softened. Filled with anger at Bhishma and the Kshatriyas, he fought Bhishma in a long, fierce battle, but even he could not defeat the great warrior. Parshuram told her gently, I have tried my best, but I have failed. Only Bhishma can decide what happens now. Amba's grief turned into burning fire inside her. Everyone had failed her. No one would stand up for her. She went to the Himalayas and prayed intensely to Lord Shiva. Finally, Lord Shiva appeared and said, in your next life, you will be the cause of Bhishma's death. Amba could not wait for that next life. She was filled with nothing but pain and purpose. She built a fire and stepped into it, ending her life so she could be reborn. By Lord Shiva's blessing, Amba was reborn as the daughter of King Drupad. One day, she saw the old lotus garland still hanging at the palace gate, untouched for years out of fear. She placed it around her own neck without hesitation. King Drupad was terrified and sent her away to the forest. There, through years of meditation, the princess was transformed into a man, Shikhanden or Shikhandi, a fierce warrior. Years later, on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Shikhandi rode beside Arjun as his charioteer. Bhishma knew Shikhandi had been born as a girl, and his code of honor would not allow him to fight someone who had once been a woman. Because of that, Arjuna could shoot at Bhishma safely. Bhishma accepted his fate. His long life of duty was ending. As he fell from the rain of arrows, he touched one and said softly, this is Arjuna's arrow, not Shikhandi's. And so the man who had once taken a vow stronger than steel fell in battle because of the pain of a princess he never meant to hurt. And that's the end of this chapter. If you're enjoying the journey through the Mahabharat, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss the chapters ahead. You can also find us on any of your favorite podcast apps and on nriwisdom.com/Mahabharat. Stories change hearts, but support changes lives. Behind every Janati.org project is a woman working toward dignity and independence. Your support helps make that possible. Please support the women of Janati.org.